Hello everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail and it's time for Try Something New Tuesday. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're one of my regulars, welcome back. I'm glad you're all here. I'm really happy today to be showing you something that I saw on Crafted by Christy, who originally got the idea from Louise Heinzel. And I had watched it on Louise Heinzel, and the way she did it on her desk and everything. Christy did it in a box, and I like that better because I thought, oh, I don't want to do that, when I saw it on Louise Heinzel. But I didn't. I decided it would be okay when I saw it on Christy, and I did try it, and I have some samples that I'll show you a little later. But what you do is you take plain white scraps or yellow scraps or off-white or already coffee dyed, anything you have, and you turn it into collage fodder with color on it. So this is like from a medicine prescription. So you tear some strips, or you can tear something big. Some of my things are kind of small that I had from my junk thing, my junk collage fodder drawer, whatever. But you can do big things or little things, and you can have text on or no text on. But like I pulled this out, and I'm just putting some in the basket, or in my box here. Now, if you happen to see my clothes today, I'm wearing something old so that I don't get ink on good stuff. But just take things and put some in a box. So that's what I did. Oh, great. I just spilled a bunch from on the floor. And it reminded me I didn't have any music in there, so I'll put a little of that in because I found it on the floor. This is very yellowed music. So you take this. Then you're going to get out some of those sprays that you bought and you never use, like me. I'm putting on gloves so I don't get ink all over my fingers. And I have pulled out some sprays that I have. This is Distress Spray Stain and Faded Jeans. This is Distress Faded Wilted Violet, Distress Oxide. Yeah. This is some really old stuff I had, DYI, which was Ranger when they first came out. Pickled Raspberry, Distressed Oxide. This is a purple DYI. This is Mermaid Lagoon Distressed Oxide. This is Lost Shadow ink and Tattered Rose. It's like for inking. So you shake your sprays up, and I'm going to move these over here. And once you got them, and I hope these are going to spray, and if they don't, well, oh well. And you just spray some on your papers. Okay? And then you take your hand and you mix it up. Now, there's actually quite a lot in here. There's probably enough. We're going to make a masterboard out of this paper once it's been totally sprayed and dried. So you want to just kind of mix her up. Okay, then take something else and put some spray on. I was afraid this one wouldn't work. Oh, we're going to get some blobs in from this one. It's coming out the top. This is really old. Hence the thing. And that's okay if you, because I even have some that are droppers from the, like this Tattered Rose that I put drops in with. after I put it in, I'm going to put it on the other side so I know what I have in already. Now another thing that I end up doing later is I'm going to be putting water in here to help those sprays diffuse onto other papers. Okay. This is, gotta shake this one up, make sure it's shaped enough. And pickled raspberry. Okay. You see I get a lot on the top, but not underneath. So as we mix it, it's touching those and it's getting some of that on to other papers. And we are distributing well, this one, the ball's not loose. This is another Distress Oxide. It's Wilted Violet. So maybe we'll get some fine purple spray. I just, you're going to see the other ones I did are grunge, total grunge. This one I'm using some color because you can do this for any type of journal, and you can mix up, you know, the colors that you want for a particular journal. So some journals these colors would really go in well with, and others wouldn't. Okay, here is some DIY. Again, this is a different, it's called Vibrant Turquoise. Okay. You can kind of see how I'm spreading that out. I'm getting different colors on different papers. And this is Fading Jeans, just because it's a darker blue. Also, there's two sides to each paper. So you're going to get different things on different sides. And I'm going to put a couple of drops of this Lost Shadow on. It's kind of a gray. Give it a little more neutral, a neutral color in it. I'm going to go back and put some of the earlier colors on again. I mentioned water, and that's another thing I'm going to put on here. I'm going to put some more of this pickled raspberry, which will help diffuse the color onto other papers as well. Some papers might stay a little whiter. If you don't like that, you just keep putting colors on until you get things that look like you would like. Okay, I'm just going to put a little more on. Maybe this turquoise. And a little more there. We're starting to get color on our pages. Now this big of a batch is even more than, I mean, this is more than you need. If you're only going to do one masterboard, I would not do this much, because you're going to have a lot left over. If you're going to just use it up, that's great. And I'm going to put some water on here now. That'll help that. See, that color will now bleed into some of the other parts of the paper that maybe didn't get color in. But this does take a while to dry then, especially with adding the water. But I found it kind of transferred the colors more to everything. And when you think you're done, you have to let it dry really well before you can glue it onto the paper, which is why I'm going to be using some of the grungy stuff I did. Actually, 2 days ago. It took 2 days to dry because I probably put a lot of water on it. A little bit more. I like lots of color. Only a little bit of white. See here, this one whole side is still white. Get some color on that. I don't mind if a little bit. This one doesn't have anything on it. There we go. Just keep mixing, keep adding until you get something that looks like what you would like. Okay, now at this point, this I have to let dry, and it is going to take a few days. I might even put a little more water on it. To spread the color to the other pieces. And remember, when you're gluing it on your masterboard, you'll have 2 sides to choose from. I didn't even get these little ones from the bottom up here. There's a couple of them that didn't get anything on much. Let's see here. It also depends on if you start with white or if you start with off-white, or, you know, like colors in here. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to leave it after this. I'll let it dry. You can see some are really have a lot of different colors on. Some have some white left in it. Some are going to be pretty much totally colored. But I think that's pretty cool. You know, you get a lot of different things on it, and then again, you can use either side, whatever you want. So I'm going to put these aside. This is a pretty one. And let them dry. And then I'm going to take off my gloves. And you can play at home as much as you want. Okay. Take off my gloves. And I'm going to clean this up because I have a little ink on my, let's see, which one do I want? This. A wipe to get all of the stuff off my glass mat. I even have a little back on my green table. This is my really old cutting mat. But I have a drafting table that's an antique under here. So I prefer not to get stuff all over that. So I kind of use it as a protector and whatever I need. And then I have my glass mat up here. I have some glue on there. Okay, so once you've got everything all cleaned up, now you're ready to start. Now, this is the stuff I did the other day. Very grungy. I used these colors. Antique linen, weathered wood, vintage photo, old papers, which is green, pumice stone, which is gray, and ice spruce, which is a frosty kind of light green. And this is what I got from that after it's dried. So it's much more grungy looking than the purple and pink is going to be. Got a lot of grunge on here, but since I like to make a lot of grungy journals, that's what I like. So I'm going to put that, and what you're going to do is make a masterboard. This is one that I made out of this particular batch of papers. So I take a piece of, this is lightweight cardstock that was from, I'd never used this, this particular paper. So what I do is I use that as a base for my collage, and then it's white on the back, and you can either, if it's thick enough, you can use that to write on. You can grunge that up, and then you can take some things, and you're going to cut this up eventually. So I'm just pulling out a couple of things, and you're just going to start gluing. Now I like to use like this old catalog to glue on, and then I can rip out the paper. This is from a kid's book. It's actually longer than the catalog. I might make a whole side on here. Now I'm using Scotch permanent glue stick. It used to be called Create. Now it's just called Scotch permanent glue stick. And once you get glue on it, you're going to put it on your paper, and you're just going to collage. And I am not going to collage this whole thing and make you, this is more of a tutorial for making the paper than how to collage, but I will do a little bit of collaging on here. I'm going to take this and fold it down, get some small pieces. Here's a piece of music paper. I'm going to put that across the top. But that, as you collage, you just put some on, one way and some on another way. And you go ahead and you get that on. Take this one. This was from like a coloring page in the newspaper. So this is pretty fragile paper because it's newsprint. But once I get it down on here, it'll be good. It'll be good to go. We get in our newspaper, we get, which I still get, we get once in a while pages to like crossword puzzles and stuff like that. I'm just gonna start putting it on wherever. I don't want more newspaper or music right away. Also try to keep your papers that you're using approximately the same weight. Like you don't really necessarily want to use cardstock in here. And if it goes off the page, I don't care, because I'm going to cut that off later. I need some of this type thing on here. I got to feel where I've used my glue stick. So you can see different colors come out, but it's still basically pretty grunge because of the way color goes together, and because of, I'm just going to put this over here. and just have fun with it and play and get your grunge or your papers onto your background that you can use for, some of this is pretty ripped up. This was from the newspaper. In fact, it's coming apart. And that's okay. I will let that be because it adds interest. And when you get your collage totally done, if you feel like you need some edges glued down or something, just go in with your regular glue and do that. All right. I believe this was an Edith Holden page, and it was yellow to begin with. But that way you get different colors on your things. In fact, I got a little newspaper on that. I'll leave it there. Put the rest of this on somewhere else. Okay. And just continue. I think the text adds interest and even, you know, some pictures and things as well. So that's coming through, and you can see the color, the different colors on it. So now when you get all finished, then you've got something that looks like this. And take a sip of my coffee before it gets totally cold. And once you have that, you let it dry so that then you can cut it easier. I'm just going to push this out of the way, and then you get this out and you cut kind of everything off the sides if you have anything hanging over, and you can do that with the scissors or you can do it with your cutter, you know, so I could cut that off. And I'm going to grab my cutter. Okay, sorry about that. This is my favorite cutter. Can't do everything with it, but it is self-sharpening, so it's really great. I'm going to go from the back. Now, I hope I let this dry long enough to cut, because I did not. I did it this morning. It's not cutting the greatest, but it'll cut this. So I'm just going to decide how am I going to do this. So I'm going to cut it in half. Better put the cap on my glue stick. I'm going to cut this in half, which is about 6. Oh, there we go. About 6 inches. It's about right there. So it's about in half. Okay. Yeah, that cut out right. And then I'm going to cut it in some, I do this from the back. I try not to be looking at, you know, exactly what I'm cutting. I'm going to cut this into some 6x3 tags across here. Now, if you can cut these any size you want. On my next one, I'm going to cut some big pieces because, see, so now I've got some background pieces that are all collaged, and I can make these into tags. And I got a little lift here. I'll just either rip it off or I'll cut it off. That might be getting cut off anyway. And then maybe on this one, I might want to do, let's see. I'm going to take off like a 2-inch strip and leave this at 4. So now this you can either use as a belly band or a long tag, long skinny tag. And then I'm going to take my 4 inches that I had left and cut it into like 3-inch journal cards. They could be pockets. You can cut whatever size you want, like I said. Maybe you want it bigger. Maybe you want 3 by 5 or something like that. But now these can be journal cards or they could be a pocket. So, and I might leave this one big, and this could be a large journal card, or I could cut it down a little bit and have a little waist and make it into a pocket. So that's what you do. I'm just going to pull this back out a little bit here so you can see it again. This is the next color that I'm doing, and I hope you try it. It's fun, and you can make some fun background collages for your tags. Okay, so this is Carol from Friendly Quail saying thanks for being with me today, and do something you love every day, because that's the secret to happiness. And thanks for being here. Yeah, bye.